The world of gaming is weird, and every month gameranx collects the weirdest gaming stories and brings them all to you. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, the weird gaming stories of January 2021. Starting off at number 10. Now, this isn't new information necessarily, but a how-to guide for installing mod chips in the PS5 controller has surfaced. Now, mod chips for rapid fire are not like a new thing by any means. You've seen them in probably every single controller, but the PS5 is brand new, and it seems like people have never seen a rapid fire mod chip before when these things come out. And everybody's like, oh, this is why it's unbearable online. It's like, well, I mean, there's other reasons. That being said, it's extremely complex to install one of these mod chips in a PS5 controller, at least for a lay person, and it gives you the ability to shoot like crazy. Basically, it's a turbo button. What's weird to me is that people think this is weird, but it seems like console generation after console generation, people react that way. At number 9, a guy built a cryptocurrency mining rig in the back of his BMW just to annoy gamers. Now, why does this annoy gamers? Of course, gamers would like the 3D cards that they use to make these sorts of things. I think it's worth saying so. But I also think it's kind of cool that he built a mining rig that fits into his BMW. I mean, look at it. The guy's name is Simon Byrne, and he's got 6 RTX 3080s in his BMW i8, which he's put into the trunk, and it powers itself off the car's battery. It's not practical though, because it will overheat unless you have the trunk open. The guy says specifically that he has a vision of a utopian world run on cryptocurrency, but to be fair, is it really utopian if the point of it is to annoy gamers? I think that's where it draws a little suspicion from me. Utopia or spite? Sounds kind of like spite. At number 8, a postal worker got caught stealing both PlayStation and Nintendo consoles, which were being delivered to customers who ordered them through the internet. So here's how this works. It's not like a guy who is driving around in a truck finding PS5s and going, ha ha ha. It was actually a supervisor in Middletown, Connecticut, who got sentenced to 9 months of home confinement and fined $20,000 after going through mail, grabbing PlayStation, Nintendo stuff, iPhones, etc. that were being sent to citizens of his little town. People he probably knew. I mean, can you imagine asking the guy that works at the post office, who's your friend that maybe you talk to at the local bar or something? Hey, I haven't been getting my mail. And he's just like, yeah, I don't know, that we've been having some kind of problems lately. Some kind of problems, or he likes to steal Nintendo Switches and PS5s, man. Frankly, that fine should be proportional to how much he's stolen, because it sounds like he's stolen quite a bit. At number 7, we got our first glimpse at Super Nintendo World, which is a new area of Universal Studios Japan that is going to be just exceedingly Nintendo. Now, this was originally planned to open in summer 2020. I think you can probably figure out why it didn't. But you can now take a virtual tour of it, and honestly, while it's not like a 3D reproduction of it, it's kind of on rails and pre-rendered, it's still really cool. In truth, it kind of looks like something that would be impossible to exist in real life. So if this is actually what Super Nintendo World looks like, if you're actually walking around and it feels like Super Mario 3D World on this level, it's really just gonna be a special place, honestly. Another weird thing is these calzones they're selling that are like the turtle shells. They look like they're actually pretty tasty. I kind of really want to go to this place, but like part of what's weird is you can't. It's just this big 3D place. It's just actually kind of totally not different than the only other way you've ever seen any of this stuff in a virtual world. At number 6, one of the top Call of Duty gamers out there, Thomas Zuma Paparetto, is going to retire from the game. Now, it's not because of some controversy or because he's just tired of doing it, but it's actually due to a thumb injury. We don't really see a lot of this kind of thing when big gamers retire. Either they start to slip a little and they don't want to do it anymore, they get tired by the schedule of constantly having to practice, or they get entangled in some kind of a controversy. He's hurt. You see, he had an injury a few years ago that he had to get surgery for, and he had gotten to the point where he was able to play games again. Obviously, he's one of the best out there, but the injury itself has manifested again, and it's stopping him from being able to play, at least without a ton of pain. He put out a statement about it saying that it breaks his heart, and he really wishes he could continue to compete with the best players out there, and he thanked all of his fans and teammates and various franchises that he's been associated with. I mean, it sucks. It really sucks when this kind of thing happens. Like, injuries taking people out of something is, in my opinion, probably the most disheartening possible reason to be taken out of it. At number 5, Razer put out a new concept called Project Brooklyn. It's, I mean, at first breath, it looks like a chair, at least. A lot of these concepts tend to look like a dinosaur or a scorpion or something, but it looks like a chair. And what it does is has a huge all-around display that deploys and armrests for your keyboard and mouse so you can play the game with the most possible immersion. I mean, if I'm completely honest, I've gotten kind of suspicious of these types of things. Like, cool. What I really care about is how comfortable the chair is, and I can't tell you anything about that from this insane trailer that they've put out. It's not that I think that they're bad, like, inherently. I question how comfortable it's going to be when comfort is obviously not something they even really talk about. Like, they barely signal towards comfort by, like, doing some circle indicators on the chair for 3 seconds. I'm sorry, but I want a comfy chair before I want a wraparound OLED display. It's not that I don't want that wraparound OLED display, but let's talk about how comfy the chair is. Maybe that's me being weird. I don't know. At number 4, Gabe Newell said that he believes that brain interfaces will create games that are superior to reality fairly quickly. This is not something that I ever want to see in my life. I am not excited for the idea of plugging computers into my brain. I am sorry. I do not want that. I do not want them to have access to my brain. I do not want them to be transmitting data from my brain. And I especially do not want them reading data from my brain. Gabe, I'm sorry, I love you, man, but I think that you're out of touch with what a normal person is concerned about. You have so much money, it really doesn't matter. You're not exactly a target for exploitation via surveillance by a company like Facebook or whatever. Maybe this makes me old, or maybe it just means I have a real analysis of these scary companies and have paid attention to how they've developed into massive conglomerates that have taken so much of our privacy from us, and nobody can do anything about it because nobody has any power against it. Yeah, I don't want this. I'm gonna call it weird, maybe even scary. Again, Gabe, I love you, but we are not on the same side here. At number 3, this Call of Duty Warzone Rose Rook skin is back in headlines after being used in a tournament. If you recall, a month ago, it was accused repeatedly of being a pay-to-win scheme. Now, in theory, this is a cosmetic-only skin. However, when you get it with the Premium Battle Pass, you will find that you are significantly harder to see in anywhere that isn't well lit. It is an entirely black skin, including face paint around the eyes. It is really good stealth in dark areas. And if you've been up against one in Warzone, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can't see it. This is being called pay to win because although clearly the item itself is quote-unquote cosmetic only, they've found a way to incentivize buying a cosmetic-only item as a means to change your gameplay experience beyond cosmetics. That's some wily crap right there. You can't currently buy it, thankfully, but again, it was used in a tournament where the prize was $250,000. Are we going to start see quote-unquote cosmetic-only skins that give an edge in gameplay as a business model? I don't know. I'm pretty actually interested in finding out if that happens. At number 2, somebody made a bot on Reddit which turns gamer arguments into Ace Attorney arguments, which is just wonderful. I mean, it obviously works with non-gaming related stuff, but I think it's funnier when you do it with gaming related stuff because it is a video game itself. Like, it has all the music, it has all of the sound effects, animations. I mean, it is fantastic. Like, it even shifts tone at the opportune times. It's so funny. You need to check out at least a few of these. They're really funny. And finally, at number 1, a Mortal Kombat player was disqualified from a tournament for criticizing developers, which is, just to be clear, what? Are you serious? Like, that's seriously the extent? Let me explain. This wasn't even really like a harsh criticism. A finalist in the official Mortal Kombat 11 Pro competition by the name of Titanium Tigers was disqualified for naming his Shiva variation, which was, for those uninitiated, a player-created moveset that also has its own custom name. He named it Why Did NRS Do This? NetherRealm Studios is NRS for reference. It was basically a mild criticism of the fact that the character Shiva is a little unbalanced, an easy one to use, and they were like, nope, you're done. Which I understand why that isn't great in a tournament run by them, but at the same time, like, do you think we'd be talking about the fact that Shiva is unbalanced in this video had this not happened? Do you think we'd be looking at NetherRealm Studios as though they did something unfair had this not happened? Like, NetherRealm, this is a Barbra Streisand thing. You shouldn't have done this. As a quick bonus for you, Gerald Slink Johnson and Sean Fontano, better known as Lamar and Franklin from Grand Theft Auto 5, reenacted one of their iconic scenes where Lamar roasts Franklin. Now, I can't repeat anything said in this reenactment here. However, they nail it. It really feels like you're watching a Grand Theft Auto scene. It's pretty awesome. Then on top of that, there was the finding of that Final Nier Automata cheat code, which was confirmed to be the final secret in the game. The ability to skip from the beginning of the game to the end. I love that game. It's such a good game. But what did you think? Leave us a comment. Let us know. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. The best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. So click subscribe. Don't forget to enable all notifications. And as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter, Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on gameranx.